Walking slow down my own street, strangers smile when our eyes meet. Doesn't matter at all.
Welcome to the Kindness Matters podcast, a show that celebrates the powerful truth that kindness can change the world. Every week I aim to shine a light on people and organizations making a positive difference in their communities, proving that compassion, empathy, and connection still thrive, even in challenging times. This podcast is about more than good stories, though. It's about real impact. Through heartfelt conversations, inspiring acts, and everyday examples of humanity, the Kindness Matters podcast invites listeners to rediscover the power of kindness as a force for healing, growth, and genuine connection. If the message of this show resonates with you, please share it with your friends and family. Each share helps spread the light a little further, because when it comes to kindness, the ripple effect is limitless.
Voice of the crowd, I see neighbors helping.
Hey, hello and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Kindness Matters podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rathbun. In case you've never listened before, that's who you're listening to. I just want to say thank you so much for, we're all really busy these days, and some of us more than others, and we're being pulled in every direction. And the fact that you chose to take 30-ish minutes of your time and listen to our podcast is just mind-blowing to me, and I appreciate it, and I thank you so much. We have such an amazing show for you today. My guest today is Andrea Pudding. Did I do that wrong? Pudding?
No, that was perfect.
Pudding. Okay. Andrea Pudding. She
With a
is the
T.
heart behind Chocolate and Coffee Break, a gentle but powerful movement that uses simple shared moments like a hot drink and a square of chocolate to spark real conversation, empathy, and social change. Drawing on her experience as a speaker, author, and community builder, she invites people, workplaces, and communities to slow down, listen deeply, and discover how everyday kindness can dissolve fear, bridge differences, and create a culture of genuine human connection. Welcome to the show, Angela. Thanks so much for being on. Not having us on.
Thanks, Mike. It's a real pleasure to be here with you to share some time.
Oh, the pleasure is really all mine. This is when I found out about this. This is such a great story, and it needs to be told. And I think it can inspire a lot of people to do exactly this. So the movement is called Coffee and Chocolate?
Chocolate first.
Chocolate
and coffee break. Yep.
Okay. Chocolate and coffee. I apologize. The
That's
wheels
right, a lot
are
of
coming
people
off,
do that.
Andrea.
It depends on where your mind is. Is your mind a coffee first mind or a chocolate first mind? Mine's a chocolate first.
Okay. I don't know if I had to choose being able to have only one or the other. I'm not sure I could. That'd be like a Sophie's Choice kind of situation right there.
Well, you don't have to. You can have them both in my book.
Yay! So how did Chocolate and Coffee get started?
Yeah, so this was an inspiration that came to me pretty much 11 years ago. There was an event that happened in Sydney, Australia, which is, I was going to say about 1,000 kilometres away from me. But you work in metric, you can work that out
That's
yourself.
okay. It's a ways away.
But that's the next capital city from where we are. It's, we're a big
Right.
country. And what happened was that a gunman who was a Muslim took hostage a chocolate and coffee cafe.
Oh,
They, so he was claiming to do this in the name of Allah. He had an ISIS flag. He had, in the name of God written or something written on his hat, all this kind of stuff. And so the people were taken hostage for quite some time. And it ended with the gunman and 2 innocent victims being killed. So in the aftermath of that, there was fear, especially within the Muslim community, that they would be a target for retaliation against this. Now, obviously,
yeah,
they had nothing to do with this. As it turned out, the man was a known psycho who caused a lot of havoc. So,
yeah.
um, but they were afraid. They were afraid to leave their homes. They were afraid to, if they were out in the streets, they were taking off their religious garb because they thought they would have a target on their back. But what happened was there was this outpouring of love and support. 150,000 people just in Sydney put up on social media the hashtag I will ride with you, offering to ride public transport with Muslims to ensure their safety.
Wow.
Now, to me, that was such a beautiful moment. It's like, we will not bow down in hate and terror. We will rise up in love and acceptance. And so I just thought that was just this magical moment. It was a horrendous thing that happened, but here was this magical moment of people coming out who are normally the silent majority and
Right.
saying, this is how we want to live our life. We want people to feel accepted and safe in our community. And so that sat with me for quite some time, and it started to come up to the following year. So that happened on December 15th, 2014. So, around October, I said to my mum, when's chocolate and coffee day? And she said, I don't know. I have never heard of it. And I was like, oh, damn, I have to start it. And so I just went from there, and that year it was, and for quite a few years, it was just simply on that day, I would encourage people to reach out to someone who was different to them, whether it be religion, culture, or any kind of difference that you don't understand,
Sure.
and share a chocolate and a coffee and just listen to each other's stories. So that was where it started, with Chocolate and Coffee Day for Religious Harmony. But, do we want to have chocolate and coffee just one day a year? Or do we
Oh,
want to, it just has so many opportunities to open up and to encourage people to come together over these simple rituals of sharing chocolate and coffee, so that we can break down the barriers that are dividing our communities. And, if we ever see divisions of communities at any time, it's right now.
oh, for sure. It is. There are parallels to what you're describing going on where I live right now.
Of course,
Um,
yes.
but we're not going to talk about that. We're talking about the 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 energy. And now you're also a public speaker, right?
Yes.
Um, and you've done so much work. When you created Chocolate and Coffee Break as a way to bring people together, what is it about these simple rituals? I mean, really, it doesn't get much more simple than just chocolate and coffee and sitting down and having a conversation that opens people up to being seen, do you think?
Well, and that was part of the thing, was that to me it seemed like such a simple thing to do, and
Yeah.
we can somehow afford to sit down with a cuppa of some sort, even if it's water, but we can afford to sit down have a cuppa with somebody, and, you can get the cheapest bit of chocolate, whatever. I don't care what you're eating, but let's to me, the other thing with it is that sitting down over a cuppa, we all do it. It transcends all cultures, all religions.
Yes.
What's in the cup may differ, but it's still that experience. And that experience of sitting with a cup in your hands gives us a sense of safety because we know it. It's a place we are safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that helps to start with. That kind of familiarity that is there in that ritual. And the chocolate, well, chocolate's pretty special. It has
Yeah, it
that
is.
amazing aroma, and
You're teasing me
it
now.
has all those amazing feel-good endorphins. So, it's a language of love. You give it to somebody when you want to open up to something. So, it does have some magic in it with that. But a lot of it is just that simple place where we all find something familiar, we all find something safe that we've already found that place where we connect. We all have this ritual in some sort. So it's that in the first place that allows it to open up.
These conversations, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, they really help people feel seen. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And because I've had many,
What?
when you sit down with someone who is, like I said, different to you in some way,
Right.
and so, there's people that I've reached out to and I've sat with that they may be hurting, they may be, I don't know, sometimes there's just something you go, if I could just sit down with them, maybe I can understand what's going on, or maybe I can see something that I haven't seen. And because I'm open to listening to their story, they get that opportunity to tell me things that maybe other people aren't asking, other people aren't listening. They think nobody wants to know, or nobody wants to hear. So a lot of it is that we have to be willing to be open,
Yes.
and we have to willing to listen, but not in a way that is about me responding. It's
Yeah.
about me listening to understand so that I can get a glimpse of their perspective. Where did that idea come from? What in their life has led to that? So there's lots of experiences like that there's some of them just sit very heavy, and not heavy in my heart, but actually light in my heart because of the way that they've responded. And some of them come back to me every now and then and say how much it's meant to them that
Nice.
I just sit and listen to them when they needed it.
Yeah, because it's all about telling stories, right? Is that
Yeah, very, very much.
so? How does telling stories, our stories, the person that we're sitting with, or me, or you, how does that help them feel seen rather than judged or fixed?
It's really about our response to them.
Okay.
So this is when I discovered that while I say, "Just get a chocolate and a coffee and sit down with someone and listen to their story," some people, they really need a little bit of guidance for various reasons. So introverts need a little bit of help, and then in
Yeah.
some ways to get started, but they're great listeners. Whereas other people are used to for making sure there's constant conversation. That's not what we're about. So it's that sitting and listening and making sure that we're present with somebody. It's really about that presence.
Yeah, for sure. And really, you kind of nailed it with you have to be open to having a conversation, to listening first, right? And I think that's we as people, I think we're so used to conversing this way, right? By typing
Absolutely.
responses, and that's okay, that might get philosophical because I might just go into that. That's how this country got ruined. That's how this civilization was ruined by keyboards. No.
Yeah. The thing is also it's about being I think it's being vulnerable in your listening as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
because listening to somebody else's story, it can be triggering, and it can open you up to different things. I'm not trying to put people off, I'm trying to encourage people to do this.
Right.
Um, and you don't necessarily have to share what is, but if you feel safe to share, then you've created a space where someone else feels safe. So if you can share as well, but really it's a piece of magic, but it's also what I find interesting in uh, as I've created friendships over time is that when someone first comes into my sphere and they sit with just me for some time, they have to get used to the idea of silence. And I think this is an important thing to bring into chocolate and coffee break is that sometimes in a conversation, there is silence, and that's okay. It's not just okay, it's good. It just gives you that breath, and you don't
Right.
have to fill every second of a conversation.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Now you've had conversations cross faiths, across
Yes.
communities, backgrounds. What do you see as the biggest barriers that keep people from allowing themselves to be seen?
I'm gonna come back to being safe. They don't feel safe in doing that. What will people think? Will they be judgmental?
Yeah.
Will How are they gonna respond? I'm gonna go straight to an example that is relatively recent and very much a part of what's going on in the world at the moment,
Right.
is that I've spent time speaking to a Jewish woman, and I reached out to her 2 years ago with the whole thing in October, and so I just sat and listened to her. Now, at the time, that was such a massive thing to her because she did not feel safe to say to the world, "I'm Jewish." She's extremely proud of being Jewish,
Sure.
but she did not feel safe in sharing that because she didn't know how people were going to respond to what she said or how it would affect her business. So, um, it's very much about our safety on all sorts of levels. That was
Yeah.
a physical safety. It can
Yeah.
be our emotional safety. It can be our spiritual safety. It can be safety on a lot of levels, and a lot is mental health as well. So, um, n- being withdrawn into that mentally, um, I'm not sure what the right word to use right now is, but knowing that it's going to affect you to be able to sit and talk with somebody, it's just always this safe space that we need to
Right.
create.
Yeah. And it doesn't be, I'm sensing a theme here with people feeling safe. How do you create, whether it's a Muslim or a Jew or a conservative or a liberal or an immigrant or a native born, how do you create that safe space for them to feel open enough to have a conversation? Is there a magic to
Magic wand?
creating that
I'd
safe
love a magic
space? Is it
wand.
just listening?
Yeah, I it's a hard thing to pin down now, so I'm gonna try and pin it down. So, it's
I
about
apologize.
no, this is good for me to be able to express this. It's about being I keep going back present, um, but showing them that you care to start with and that you're interested. And so putting aside our phones, which are really, putting aside all of that and giving someone your full attention. You're not looking around the room for scanning for everything else. You're focused with the person.
Yeah.
Starting with some easy questions that just kind of I call them heartwarming questions, and I do have a whole list of them, and, I have I have some in a little box that help
Got
me.
cards.
Yeah. So, those kind of questions that aren't invasive, that help you to find a connection are really important. So finding that connection to start with of, this is something that we
Right.
have in common.
That we have in common, right?
So finding that safe space to start with, and then working from there, and then just encouraging them by you being present, by you being responsive to their energy. Piece of chocolate helps. But just being
Yeah,
able to go gently into that and to listen. It's when they see you listening, when they can feel that you're listening and that you're interested in them, then they can start to open up.
right, right. And now you've taken this from a 1 day a year event to all year long, and then you're like, "I'm still not satisfied. Let's do a podcast too." What's the name of your podcast?
Yeah, my show is Chocolate and Coffee Break, a compassionate proposition.
Ooh, I like that. I like
I
that.
like it too.
I'm sure you named it. Um, so could you share a story either from your gatherings? No, okay. I just thought of another question. I got sidetracked. Do you do group gatherings at all, or is it just all one-on-ones?
No, do a few group gatherings, and I'm gonna be doing some more, and I've just a friend of mine has just kind of go, "Can I use Chocolate and Coffee Break as a fundraiser for a charity?" And I go ahead, this is great, I'm happy." He said, "Can
Yeah,
I steal it?" And I said, "No, you can use it."
yeah. You can
So
borrow it.
yeah, I do group gatherings, which is kind of an introduction to the concept and gives them an experience in sitting and exploring another person, and also helps them to see that if we've got a diverse group, then they can start to understand that while somebody seems different to them, they're not that different, that we all have these things in us
Right.
that are familiar. So, and they're great. They're a great experience. And from there, then people go, well, this is something that I can do. This is easy. And they can open up. And it might not be something that they do every day or, regularly. They might just once in a while just go, that person, I'm just not connecting with them. How about I have a chocolate and coffee break with them? And so if it's just becomes a tool that's in back of their mind, that this is something that can make a difference.
Sure. And it probably does. Can you share a story? Back to my original question either from your podcast or from your conversations, where a small act of kindness helped someone feel genuinely seen? I'm sure you have a
Ooh.
million.
Which one?
Choose one.
Oh,
We'll put them all in a
goodness.
hat. You can just pick one out.
Yeah,
First one that
yeah,
comes to
yeah,
mind.
yeah. Well, I had a chocolate and coffee break with someone who is transgender. So,
Definitely somebody who
and
needed to be seen.
yeah, so that was beautiful because while she is while she is fairly public in that she is transgender, being able to sit and just allow her to open up and share what it means to her and some of those experiences that haven't been pleasant, because most people don't wanna know about those.
Yeah.
So, allowing her to share some of those things that have been deeply cut in her heart, um, helped her to I think helped her to heal. And I am told that by a few different people who, like I said, do get back in touch with me that the having a chocolate and coffee break has helped them to heal and allowed them to, uh, speak out a little bit more, allowed
Sure.
them to be a little bit more seen in the world. They feel safe to be seen in the world a little bit more. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I think about experiences like that, and it just kind of warms my heart a little bit.
It should. That's a fantastic thing. Yeah, and I think there's so many people that we don't, maybe until somebody brings it up, you don't even think about a transgender person unless they're part of your life. Um, and then you usually have an opinion on it one way or the other. I know that.
Well, sometimes also with those people, you kind of, um, I'm not being general about transgender, I'm just being general about anyone who is different to you.
Yes.
You don't feel kind of like you can reach out to somebody. Um, so, I'm thinking about people with certain disabilities and things that is it okay to reach out? Is it okay to ask some questions? Now that is a real big question, and I'm reading a book on that at the moment. But to treat them, if you're treating them as you treat the next person with love and kindness,
Right.
that's all you have to do, and why not reach out to them and just treat them like a new friend that you wanna have a
Yeah.
conversation with, someone interesting that and you don't have to ask them about those things, you just leave the space open, that the door open that say they can. If they wanna share that with you, they can, they feel safe.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Okay. So when you imagine a world where helping people feel seen is treated as a shared mission, not just a nice extra, what do you see? And how does your work with kindness and conversation move us in that direction? That's a stupid question, and I'm going to take it back. Not really, because I think we've talked about how chocolate and coffee tends to move us in that direction. But what do you envision for chocolate and coffee in regards to civilization, humanity, our world? Do you see it working?
Yeah, I hope it works. I hope it works to help heal some of this division that we have. I now, while there's a lot of people out there shouting a whole lot of stuff, I just feel like this is something gentle that people can relate to easier. I see that it can open kind of spaces where to allow communities to connect. So is there a group that's been outcast, who's feeling a little bit outcast? Can we bring them into the community? And I'm seeing that also has been a use for chocolate and coffee, is to bring people
Right.
into a community, to invite them into that safe space. And the one thing that I wanted to that came into me came to my head when you were saying that, if I think about some of the negative aspects of society, thinking about what came to me was gangs. Now, there's a lot of young people that join gangs because that is where they feel a sense of belonging.
Right.
They're
Right.
given this sense of belonging there. What if we can give people a sense of belonging before they get there? What if we can spend time with people on the outskirts of our communities and give them a sense of belonging, give them a sense that they are seen and heard? That can completely change their trajectory in life.
Absolutely. I love that. Andrea, thank you so much for your time today. You are changing the world for the better. You're making a positive difference in the world. I'll have your website in the show notes, as well as your podcast linked in the show notes. Thank you for what you do and what you're doing.
Thank you, Mike. It's been a real joy talking to you and sharing chocolate and coffee.
I wish I had a chocolate and coffee right now. I'll go get one.
Yeah, absolutely. And, every time you have one, just think, who could I share this with?
Human first, before the names.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Kindness Matters podcast and spending part of your day with me and my guest, Andrea Pudding. It's truly appreciated, and the hope is that you're taking something positive and encouraging with you into the rest of your week. If this episode resonated with you at all, please share it with a friend and consider leaving a review or a comment on the episode, because your feedback helps others find the show and keeps the conversation about kindness going. You're also invited to connect with the community on social media: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, where more uplifting content and updates are shared. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter so you can never miss an update, special feature, or new release. And be sure to check out the brand new merch store, where you can pick up some cool Kindness Matters gear that supports the show. And remember, the proceeds from every purchase go to a nonprofit doing good in the world. Both of those links are available in the show notes. We will be back again next week with another inspiring, uplifting episode. Remember, kindness matters, and so do you.
Before